Jewell Ruth-Ella Humphrey identifies herself as a Black woman, traveler, and student, who is now pursuing her passion for archaeology and African American diaspora studies. She was born and raised in Aurora, Colorado, and is currently residing in LA. She graduated with an undergraduate degree from the Center of African American Studies at Howard University. Her pursuit of archaeology and anthropology began from a guest lecture during her undergraduate by Dr. Justin Dunlop, who illustrated that this study was an accessible choice for her. Following this, she began to gain experience in archaeology by spending the summers of 2018 and 2019 working at the Estate Little Princess Project alongside Dr. Dunlop and archaeologists such as Dr. Ayana Llewellyn, Dr. Alicia Adewale, and others. She described her experience at the Estate Little Princess Field School to be one of the most unique experiences.
Jewell Humphrey, in the fall of 2020, began her PhD in anthropology at the University of California, Los Angeles, with a primary focus on archaeology. She is certified in scuba diving and a proud member of the Society of Black Archaeologists, a community-driven member who promotes self-love. Alongside this, she runs a blog, jewellhumphrey.com, to honor her namesakes, her grandmothers, and to make her life experiences accessible to those that do not get the same opportunities that she's been given. After the speech, there will be a Q&A session. There's mics placed to the right and the back of the theater. But for now, please join me in giving Jewell Humphrey a warm welcome to Cate.
Hey! Good morning! Good morning! I was worried that when I got up here, I wouldn't have any voice left because I was screaming for the drummers so loud. But they did amazing. First, I want to thank Lauren and Stephanie. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much, Ms. Peterson, for having me. This is an incredible event. I'm so impressed already. And I'm really just honored to be in front of such a talented, yes, I saw the cafe last night as a very talented, such an incredible, genius community. Just thank you so much. My name is Jewell Ruth-Ella Humphrey. I am a PhD student at UCLA, and I am an underwater Africana archaeologist. Thank you. So this means I scuba dive, I go underwater, I do research, do some nerdy stuff, and I look for Black history that is submerged. I'm going to get into all of this, I'm going to get into all these details, but for now I want to talk about the theme. Do you guys know the theme of today? Beloved. Yes, beloved community. We're honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. So I'm going to give you guys some insight into my own community, but first, for the next hour, you're my community, so I want to get to know you. So I have a very important question. I want you guys to answer this one honestly. What is the last song you listened to? This is important. I feel like it tells me a lot about you. While you're answering this, you can, hopefully the QR code works for everybody, but while you're answering this, I'll tell you the last song I listened to. It's by someone you might know, West Side by Marley Marshall. I was listening to this morning, it's like my hype up song. I was like, okay. Let's see these songs. Don't lie. Be honest. It's okay. If it was One Direction and Justin Bieber, because that's my playlist. Oh, okay, you guys have good music taste? Okay, people were in their feelings this morning listening to Landslide. That's okay, it was rainy, I get it. Yes, I'm every woman. I love it, okay. We have some more Monty Mojo fans, okay. Perfect, okay, I like this vibe. Oh, we have some more, so fresh, so clean, yes, chicken nuggets. I don't know what that is, but I like it. Oh, we have some Ice Spice fans, okay. Okay, cute. So now I have another important question. This was just the warm-up. Now we're getting into the real one. Drum roll. Yes. Now I have a rule. If it's more than 20% Scorpio, I'm going home. Thank you. I'm a Capricorn. We get a lot of hate, okay, Capricorn. We get a lot of undeserved hate, I know. But MLK was a Capricorn. Just remember that. Let's see what we're working with. Well, now I feel like we're in a safe space. I like you guys. I hope you like me too. This is a cozy, comfy community, okay? You guys are my beloved community right now. Now I have one more question, but this one is more of a reflection. We're gonna get kind of serious. We're gonna get a little bit vulnerable. And this question, I really just want you to be asking yourself. I want this to be more of a reflection. I'm gonna play this video, and while it plays, I want you to think about your relationship to water. I want you to think, how does it make you feel when you see it? How does it make you feel when you're in water?
Shoal, among these shallows, I seek my own name and a man. As the crab's claws move backwards through the surf, blind memory grips the putrefying flesh. Was it not then we asked for a new song, as Colon's vision gripped the buried branch, for the names of bees in the surf of white frangipani, with hard teeth breaking the bitter almonds of consonants, shaping new labials to the curl of the wave, christening the pomegranate with a careful tongue, pomme de citer, bitter Cytherean apple, and God's eye glazed by an indifferent blue. We have learnt the alphabet of alkali and aloe on seeds of islands dispersed by the winds. We have washed out with salt the sweet, faded savor of rivers, and in the honeycombs of skulls the bees built a new song, and we have eaten of their bitter olive. But now, twin souls, spirit of river, spirit of sea, turn from the long interior rivers, their somnolence, brown studies, their long colonial languor, their old Egyptian sickness, their imitation of tea color, their tongues that lick the feet of Bwana and Saib, their rage for funeral pyres of children's flesh, their sinuousness that shaped the original snake. The surf has raised that memory from our speech, and a single raindrop irrigates the tongue. The sea waits for him.
This is a poem by Derek Walcott. It's called The Sea is History. It's one of my favorite poems. And he talks about the relationship that specifically Black people have had to water, whereas it might be the Middle Passage or like as an actual life source. And that relationship is complicated. And that's going to be something that I'll talk about throughout this next hour. But first, you guys had a second to reflect. I just need one volunteer for something. Just one. Okay, everybody's pointing to you. You raise your hand first. Okay, go ahead, you can come up. Keep clapping, keep clapping. Okay, tell us, what is your name? Oh, no, you gotta get in the light, you gotta come in the light. This is about you. What's your name?
Lucine.
And what year are you?
Junior.
Nice to meet you. So you had a chance to reflect, and I would love if you would share with us a little bit about your answer.
I'm a bit anxious around water because almost drowned once a few years ago, and ever since then I've just been sort of like afraid of like big water sources like lakes, oceans, things like that.
Yeah. Go ahead and clap for Zoom. I honestly hold a lot of the same feelings, and I really appreciate you being so vulnerable about your feelings. So I have this gift card for you. Bet you guys wish you volunteered, huh? Okay. And then I want to give you this book. It's a book about the history of surfing in different African countries. It's a beautiful book, and so that was a question. It took me years and years and years to come to terms with. What is my relationship with water? How do I feel about water? And I appreciate that you were able to come up with such an honest answer in just a few minutes, so thank you. And we're gonna get more into that, but I wanna give you a little bit of foundation first about what it is that I really do, because underwater Africana archaeology sounds like a fake job that I made up, and I'm just here to hang out with you guys, but it's real. And so I'm gonna start with the basics. How many of you have your open water scuba diving certification? Yay, that's a lot of you. That's really awesome, honestly. So for those of you that haven't done it, your open water scuba certification is pretty much the beginners, the basics class. You take some classes, you go underwater, they teach you how to be safe, they teach you how to have fun. So fast forward, I did that, and then I went on to get my scientific scuba diving certification. So now what this is if you want to do research underwater, it might be archaeology, it might be marine biology or something like that. So what you need to get that certification is over 100 hours of training. Some of it's in the classroom, some of it's underwater. You need medical clearances, you need a certain number of working dives. It's like super intense. So that's the scientific scuba part. Then we go on to the archaeology part. So I'll describe a little bit about what a research project might look like. So for me, you identify a site, you say, okay, there's something in this lake, I want to research it. You might take some sort of scanning device. In my case, I've used a sonar scanner. You attach it to the back of your boat, you drive all around the lake, and you produce this type of map, like this. It looks like it would be nothing, but it's just telling you that there's something there. You get all geared up, you see me in my little cute pink tank. You go, you dive, and you measure everything. So for a ship, for example, you'd measure every plank of wood. You would measure everything, because even down to the smallest nail size can tell you about the historical significance. It could tell you who might have been on the boat, why they might have been using the boat, where it came from, and where it was going, and also why it might have sunk. So you take every measurement, and you'll produce a map that looks something like this. This is a map that came from one of my research projects. And you'll detail the artifacts that were found, measurements, what the environment around it looked like. And after you have this map, you can use it to reference and say, okay, well, I have this theory of what might have happened, and you can come up with different conclusions from that. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's pretty much what I do. And I got into this work through Diving with a Purpose. Now, this is an organization that's dedicated to heritage preservation, ocean restoration, and historical storytelling. It's a group of people. They're not all archaeologists, they're not all career scuba divers. They come from different careers. They might be actors, they might be architects, whatever it might be, but they have this passion, and they've come together to take their skills and put it towards documenting Black and African diaspora history. And this is the community that got me into what I'm doing now. I'm going to tell you all about them, more about that, but there's 4 components really to all of the community that has poured into me and has given me all of the skills to get me to where I'm at today. So I'm going to tell you about my journey, but to me, it's most important to acknowledge the community that has gotten me to where I am now. So there's 4 parts of this. Live your truth, open arms, validate, and encourage. Yes, it spells out love. Yes, I'm corny. But this is really the main components of all of the things that I've seen that has given me a safe space, that's given me my beloved community. So we're going to start with L. Live your truth. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. Lean in so you can hear me. Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret. When I was in high school, I did not know how to swim. Come on, I need you to be more dramatic, please. I'm going to do it again. And I need you to be more dramatic. Come on, give me a little gasp. When I was in high school, I didn't know how to swim. Somebody back there called me a fraud. Thank you. This is true. I didn't know how to swim. I was scared of the ocean. I was scared of water, and it wasn't really my thing. I'm from Colorado. We didn't have an ocean. I didn't really care that much. And it wasn't until later that my mentor and my now PhD advisor literally had to teach me how to swim. But first, I literally had to tell him, I'm scared. I don't know how to swim. I had to live my truth and say, this is something that I'm passionate about, but I have no idea how to get there. This is something that I want, but I have literally no clue how to jump into the ocean and float. And they helped me and they taught me how to do that. And that was me living my truth. Oops. So here we have Halle Bailey. I love her. And I'm sure we all know by now that she was casted as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And a couple months ago, the trailer came out. All this drama. People were crying on TikTok, saying that a Black woman could not be a mermaid and could not be Ariel because it ruined the movie. Not only did she stay in the movie and sing it perfectly and slay, honestly, when the trailer came out, we see that she kept her natural locks for the movie. She did not change anything about who she is and the things that are important to her to star in this major film. She kept her natural hair, her locks, and she slayed. She lived her truth. Around here, you see a couple of different organizations that I love: Outdoor Afro, Ebony Beach Club, and the Society of Black Archaeologists. These are different organizations that are really niche. It's like Society of Black Archaeologists. There's not a lot of us. The Ebony Beach Club is dedicated to black surfers. Outdoor Afro is a group of black people who take each other on hikes and do all these different outdoor activities. But they lived their truth. They said, okay, I love surfing. Who else loves surfing? Let's go surfing together. And they created their community out of thin air, it might seem. So the first step to really creating your beloved community is by acknowledging, what do I love? What am I passionate about? What type of people do I want around me? And then doing it. So that's L. Next we have open arms. So we have Miss Beyonce here. Give her open arms. I love that you guys clapped for Beyonce. So we have her here. And this is about the part of my life where people really took me under their wing and they gave me every opportunity that I needed, and I just had to embrace it and run with it. So this is me when I was a freshman in college. Who knows what an HBCU is? Raise your hands. Yes. Okay, guys, go ahead and say it. Historically Black College University. Period, yes. So I went to Historically Black College University. If you don't know, these are colleges and universities that are dedicated to black scholars in higher education. I went to Howard University in DC, and it was in my freshman year Africana Studies class with Dr. Josh Myers. It was literally like the second month of school or something. Dr. Justin Donovan and Jay Hagler from Diving with a Purpose, they came to my class and they presented about black archaeology and black scuba divers. And as you can see, I was in the front row. This is me. And I was like literally on the edge of my seat, like shook, because I just could not believe that this was a real job and that they were telling us about this and that we could possibly do it too. So it turned out that that summer, I interned with the Society of Black Archaeologists in St. Croix, and we did an archaeological dig on a plantation. It was a very emotional experience because we uncovered jewelry, we uncovered toys, we uncovered food scraps, and this is from the area where the enslaved people were living. So what this material culture showed us was life beyond enslavement, life beyond what being oppressed looked like. People were still dressing up, people were still choosing their jewelry, they were playing with toys, and they were enjoying all of the seconds that they could. And it was a heartbreakingly beautiful lesson that I learned. And it was from that moment that I was really hooked on the stories that archaeology can really tell when it's used in a positive way. And it was in St. Croix, actually, that I did my first scuba diving experience and first learned how to swim. So overall, that summer changed my life. And fast forward to 2021, this was me. We were posing for National Geographic, and I was doing my master's research. The map that I showed you guys earlier, that was the same project. So these are the same people. We have Jay Hagler, we have Dr. Justin Donovan, we have Dr. Ayana Llewellyn, Kamal Siddiqui, amazing black archaeologists who did nothing but pour into me for years and years and years, gave me opportunity after opportunity to learn from them, with open arms, and I was able to take those opportunities and run with them, and continue to succeed and grow towards my goals. So one of the most important things that I've learned is to just take every opportunity, take every risk, take every chance, and learn from everybody that I can. Because in every safe space, every beloved community, there are people that will be giving you opportunities, but you have to be the one to take it. Now, I have a little reflection that I want you to do. I want you to think of who got you to where you are today. I know you all have amazing goals. I'm probably looking at like 25 presidents. But what got you to where you are in this moment, 10 a.m., January 16th, 2023? Just sit and think about it for a second. What I think about is all of the Black people who struggled through racial violence, through segregation, specifically in public beaches and public pools. Because without them, there would be no Jewell swimming, there would be no Jewell scuba diving, no Jewell in the ocean. So just take a second, think about it. And make it a note to appreciate them and to appreciate their efforts as you go through your journey, because it will make it mean that much more to you. And if you can, if you still have the chance, thank them personally. They might be in this room. Hint, hint. So just think about that for a second. Next, we have validation. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a story. So when I was in middle school, no good story starts like that. When I was in middle school, the days we all try to forget about, I went to the amusement park with my friends, and we had the best time. We had so much fun, and we thought we were so grown up. And the next day, this picture was on the front page of the Denver Post. That's me crying, okay? This is me. I was crying on a roller coaster, and they took a picture and they put it on the front page of the newspaper. Now, I was humiliated, obviously. I was horrified that this could happen to me. And everyone still makes fun of me for this to this day. If you Google my name, this is what comes up. But now, years later, I looked back at this picture and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm amazing. I was so terrified to the point of tears, but I was on the ride though. I was not scared from the line. I was not scared watching my friends have fun without me. I was scared, but I was on the ride though. And so I look back at this and I think, oh my gosh, like I'm so powerful, like even in middle school. And I'm sure you guys have all similar experiences. Maybe not as embarrassing, but you can look back and you think, okay, I have it within me to do what I need to do. Because when you think community, you think of everybody who's around you. Like, it's y'all, you're the community. But one of the most essential things to think about when you're planning what is a safe space is how you're showing up. If you can't show up for yourself, if you can't validate yourself, you won't be able to show up for your beloved community. And you won't be able to make a safe space for other people if you can't make a safe space for yourself. And that was one of the hardest lessons that I've learned on my career, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a crier. Who else is a crier? I cry at everything. I'll cry in romantic movies. I'll cry at sad TikToks. I will cry if I see a cute dog. I honestly almost cried during the Black National Anthem this morning. I'm just a very emotional person. And honestly, if I'm being very honest with you guys, because this is a safe space, I have cried a lot on my journey. And real tears, or sometimes just the feeling that I wasn't good enough. I was scared to learn how to swim. I was terrified to learn how to scuba dive, and I was also really scared to start grad school because I just felt like, oh, what if I'm not good enough? I had all these questions. What if I can't do it? And that's really the hard way that I learned that to create your safe space, you have to validate yourself first. Did you guys see Black Panther 2? Some of you saw it. Okay, I won't give any spoilers then. But if you saw it, you know that Lupita Nyong'o, who's amazing, was doing all these crazy stunts underwater the whole movie and looked amazing while doing it, by the way. And I was filming on TikTok one day and I saw this, and she's like doing full like bench press and front lunges and I don't really know what they're called, all through the pool. Things I can't even do above water, she was doing in water. And I was so amazed by this. And it reminded me that she had to work this hard and be so extra because she had to show up for her cast and her crew. And she had to show up for us because we wanted another movie. But she poured all of this hard work into herself so that she could show up. And that's really what validation is. Now, we're coming up on our last part of love, educate and encourage. So I'm gonna tell you about this picture right here. This picture was in the March edition of National Geographic this year. And it's from the project that I was telling you guys about, the one in St. John. This is Kamal Siddiqui, another one of my mentors who I admire greatly. And it was during this project that Tara Roberts, journalist who started this National Geographic article, she was following Diving with a Purpose divers all around the world. And she was going country to country, and she was interrogating her feelings with water, and her family's feelings with water, and she was learning how to dive. She got certified, and she went on all these missions, and she honestly greatly inspires me, and I look up to her a lot. And the reason that I look up to her is because she lived her truth. She said, this is what I want to write about. This is what's important to my community. She found the opportunity. She taught herself how to scuba dive. And then she wrote this beautiful article that I hope you guys will have the chance to read. She also put out a podcast called Into the Depths, where she talks about her experiences with water and the historical connection that the African diaspora has to water, which for a lot of the same reasons, I had those connections to water too. Oh, I'm scared, oh, I don't want to get my hair wet, all of those same feelings that I share with a lot of my friends. And so her goal was to not only educate people about the opportunities that were out there, but to encourage them. And she has been a huge encouraging factor in my journey, and as I continue to become a better diver and to become a better scholar, but more importantly, a better community member as I go along my journey. So those are the 4 components that I've found most helpful along my journey. We have L, O, V, validate, E, encourage. Yes, so I'm gonna need another volunteer. Keep clapping. Okay, come into your spotlight, please. Okay. So tell us your name.
Sahar,
Welcome, Sahar. And your year.
Junior.
Junior. Okay, everybody clap for Sahar. Okay, now I have a question for you. Let me get out of your spotlight. This is your time. My question for you is, I've talked about my experience. I've talked on and on and on and on about me, my experience in my career, my journey. Now, which of these 4 steps resonated with you the most and why?
I think living your truth kind of resonated with me the most, mainly because I guess like you said in middle school, it's like those days you want to forget. Like since I've been young, I've always had like a really vibrant personality, and I guess as I've gone through life, like I've come across things that have made me like dumb down my light a little. My mom's always like, Sarah, like you really need to like be yourself in certain situations, and I guess like living my truth kind of like made me open up a little bit more, especially here.
I love that you said that you can't dim your light for people. That is so beautiful. And let me tell you guys something. Sahar is like me. We're city girls. You know, we're city girls, okay? We both kind of were like, ooh, hiking, I don't know, because I heard you guys go to Yosemite and stuff. But Sahar's brave, she did it anyway. So, okay, as promised, your gift card. But I also have this book for you. It's called Nature Swagger. And it's like this beautiful photo book of Black people doing all these amazing sports outside, diving and hiking, and pretty much like breaking all the stereotypes that people have about us. And I hope you love it. Thank you for sharing your answer. Now, the thing about that book, and the thing that I know about this school, is that y'all are outside. Like outside, okay? And you guys are doing things that no other school is doing, and I think it's amazing, and I'm honestly jealous. But you're doing a lot of things that 16-year-old Jewell would have called white people-ish, okay? And I'm doing a lot of those things now, but back then, I was like, what are y'all doing? And so I want to give you a task. I'm gonna give you some homework to bring with you after this talk. So because you guys have all this amazing nature experience, you hike, you backpack, you swim, you snorkel, you scuba, you do all these cool things. Now when you leave this campus, this safe space, you're gonna meet people who have never done any of those things. You're gonna meet people who have never seen the ocean. You meet people like me who are scared and intimidated just because I didn't know. And it's going to be your responsibility to educate and encourage. It's going to be your responsibility to make nature an inclusive and safe space for other people. This is for when you go home in the summer, I don't know if you do that. And this is for when you go to college. It's something that you guys now have been given so much knowledge. Your amazing teachers have given you these opportunities, and now it's your chance to also give those opportunities to other people. And I think that's amazing, and it's something that you guys should take a lot of pride in. Can you do that? And then I want you guys to take me backpacking, because I really am kind of scared. So I will be back. And before we go to the Q&A, I do want to leave you guys with this quote. Since we are celebrating Dr. MLK, this quote is really relevant and it's important to me because part of a safe space is not only loving on yourself and loving on the people around you, but it's also just knowing how your actions are impacting other people and also impacting the environment. So the quote goes, "We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one destiny affects all indirectly. Whatever affects one destiny affects all indirectly. So I just want you guys to sit with that, and as you move forward through your day, think to this question. How can I better love myself in order to better love my community? Thank you. Now, I would love if you have any questions. In the meantime, I listed some amazing organizations that if you have interest in like surfing or hiking, diving with a purpose, of course. These are organizations that would be great to get involved in, to support in any way. Diving with a Purpose trains people every summer to do missions with them. So if that's something you're interested in, that's something that you can do. And a lot of these organizations, because I do live in LA, are based in LA. So they're not too far, but yeah.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to come to either of the mics.
Hi, I'm Nor. I'm so happy to introduce you, and I'm so happy you came here to speak to all of us. Just as another Black woman who's interested in history, I'm curious how you figured out what piece of history you want to study, like how you zeroed in.
That is such a great question. And honestly, it's something that as you continue developing your interest, it will change, and it will change because you'll change as a person. But honestly, I just read as much as I could until I found the one thing that I just was like, there has to be more books about this. And then that becomes the thing that drives your interest, because you can't get enough. You always want more. But because that will continue to change, you'll see how that reflects where you are in your life.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ember. As someone who's the head of an outdoor-related club on campus, how would the outdoors be made more accessible to people of color?
That's also a great question. And I can't really speak to the needs of any specific community, because that's a conversation that has to be had. And I think you starting by asking the question shows that you're taking that into account, and you would definitely be able to have that conversation with the members of your club. But I think when I was more intimidated, or in activities that I'm intimidated of now, something that I would have loved is if people didn't always assume that certain things about nature were common sense. Like everybody was supposed to know how to chase off a bear or something like that. Like those are things that I didn't know and don't know how to do. So I think just starting from the basics and everyone learning together as a community, even if you already are an expert on backpacking, everybody start from a foundation and building up together, I think is the best way to build that community.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Liam. I'm a junior. I was just wondering, and I think you touched on it a bit earlier in the presentation, but I feel that in Western academia there's an idea that research and studying has to be totally separate from the ideas of feelings and spirituality. And it seems like archaeology is much more personal than other forms of research. And I was just wondering, do you separate your personal feelings and emotions and I guess like ideas from what you're researching when you're diving, or how do you deal with that?
That's a great point, because I also agree with you. Sometimes research can seem like so kind of boring, like you can't have any emotions about it, or you can't have feelings about it. And people think about that a lot when I say like, oh, I'm a scientist. They'll make assumptions that I don't have feelings about the work that I'm doing, but I think it's important to have that type of connection. I wouldn't be doing the work if I didn't have a connection to it, because it is really my heritage. I'm always connecting, how do my family members feel about water? How would they feel about the research that I'm doing? How would my grandmothers, who I honor so much, what were their experiences when they were growing up with water and things like that? So for me, it was never ever about just the research, and it really was about the feelings first. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it, is because of that.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm May. I'm also a junior, and my question is kind of similar to what Liam just asked, where I think when you want to introduce a subject that you're really passionate about, or you have a message that could be sentimental that you want to get across to people who don't necessarily have that same background or experience or interest, how do you bring people into that conversation, or how do you get people to resonate from basically just a blank slate?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because sometimes when you're so passionate about something and other people are less passionate, you're like, why do you not care about what I care about? But I think it all comes down to kind of like what I was saying earlier. It's like, not everybody is gonna vibe with what you vibe with, and that's okay. But talking about it and continuing to talk about it and expressing your passion about something is so cool to me, because then other people will be like, OMG, I like that too, and now you're besties. And so I really think, honestly, like, talking about it till people are almost annoyed that you won't stop talking about it is like the best thing to do.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Daisy. I'm a senior. I feel like, at least when I think of archaeology, I think of like a bunch of old white men stealing things from other cultures.
Yes.
How do you feel like you've grappled with sort of that legacy of archaeology?
Whew. Yes. So this is a legacy that archaeology has. Historically, it has been like old white guys stealing from other cultures, and it has been a problem. And that is something that I struggle with. Do I even want to call myself an archaeologist? Do I want to go into this field? But I think that was even more of a reason to do the work, because who better to do the work than the people of the community? And who better to look into this history when it's my history? And so it's kind of hard to grapple with the effects of what has happened in the past, honestly. But that's the whole point of the Society of Black Archaeologists and Diving with a Purpose. It goes beyond, we're not taking things so we can put them up in a museum and take it away from the culture that put it there. We're doing the work so that we can uncover stories that we connect with, and we can learn more about our history.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sinai. I'm a sophomore, and similarly to Daisy's question, as a Black woman who wants to pursue a career in STEM, what are some challenges you face as a Black woman pursuing a career in STEM? And then what advice do you have for girls like me?
First of all, congratulations. That's awesome that you found your passion. Honestly, I've had a lot of the difficulties that you can expect. People who underestimate me, and I'm sure you'll face people who say, oh, I'm a biologist, or I'm an archaeologist. They'll be like, are you? Are you sure you know what you're talking about? And that's kind of one of the biggest challenges, honestly, because I take those to heart sometimes, and that's when like that self-talk, like talking to myself in the mirror, literally, and like telling myself, you're good enough, you got this, it doesn't matter what other people think, and just like continuing to fight through it has been one of the major challenges that I've faced. But honestly, like the further I've gotten into the career, and the further that you get into what you're passionate about, you'll find other Black women who are pursuing the same things, and you'll find your support system, and you'll be able to lean on each other and get through it together, and that's like been like my saving grace. So you got this.
something cool. I just want to know how you feel.
Well, okay, I have two. One was just the first time I saw a shark. When I was underwater, I was freaking out, and it was honestly like my first dive too. And so I'm like underwater, I'm trying to like breathe, like meditate breathing, but I'm like freaking out, and I'm like holding on to my instructor, and I'm like, should we go? I don't know if we should be here. So that was like the first cool moment where I was like, y'all, I saw a shark, and it was so cool, and I could like kind of brag about it a little bit, like a little flex. And then another cool thing is when we were doing the dig, like I told you guys, we found toys, we found like little marbles. And I just love that example because I was just like, the kids were being kids. They were playing when they could. And people talk about the oppression and they talk about the violence, but it's also important to acknowledge the humanity. And people were still people, regardless of what they were being put through. So that's one of my favorite examples because I think it's so beautiful to me.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jade. I am a junior. And so for my question, thank you for being here first. And so I know that because you work with the oceans, as an ocean archaeologist, you work very often with international waters and international vessels. So, as a Black person, as a woman, and otherwise, how do you consider yourself in a world that is increasingly extending beyond national boundaries? How do you consider yourself and your, the cultures you come from in this more integrated world?
Yeah, absolutely. So since my research specifically is African diaspora, so this can be Black Americans, it can be Black people in the Caribbean, it can be people in continental Africa. When there's missions that are happening, I think that it's important for people of that community, if it's a lake, who lives around the lake, whose stories is this, and it's important that they're leading the conversation. So myself and my placement in all of this research is kind of more as somebody with the tools. Say, here, I have this research money, I have a scientific scuba dive certification, what do you want to know, and let's go find it. And so that's where I see my role in like the whole conversation. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
We have time for one more question for Jewell.
Hey, I gotta lower this thing. Hi, my name is Shelby. I was senior here, and because there were some things I noticed as you were speaking, as I saw you, I was just like, I haven't seen an archaeologist before with like long nails and lip gloss and hoop earrings, and first of all, I wanted to thank you for that, because that just representation in itself is extremely important, because that was a conscious moment. I was like, that's so cool, actually seeing that. And so, one thing I want to ask you is, during your work with Black archaeologists, like, especially because it's such a white-dominated field, how is it that you always make sure to bring your culture, your history, and honor yourself in your work?
Thank you so much, first of all, for saying that. That means the world to me. And that's the amazing thing about Society of Black Archaeologists is, like, for example, the very first dig that I did on St. Croix, we had this priestess who came. She grew up generations back on the island. She came, she blessed the space, she did libations, we all prayed together, we all meditated together, we reflected on the space before we started working. And that was one of the main things that like hooked me into it, because I said, okay, they really care about me, and we care about each other, about the space, about the land. And that's like us pouring all of our cultures into what we're doing. And I don't take my nails underwater with me, but I do, you know, I don't try to, like Sahar said, I try not to dim my light and who I am, just because it's a white male-dominated field, and they have had ways of doing things for years, and it's okay to come in and be different, and I think that's a great thing. So thank you for your question. Can we take a selfie so I can send it to my mom? Okay, everybody look cute. Oh, you already know I got the 0.5. Okay, ready? 1,